let me close out some of these windows because I don't want them anymore. And let's go over here. So the other stuff that we were going to discuss was I had something for Rainbow Six Extraction. And then whatever time we have left, we can obviously discuss other things. So my hopefully not super long Rainbow Six Extraction discussion is Rainbow Six Extraction did not come out to like this round of applause from the community. Most people, based on YouTube dislikes, you can't see them anymore, but they were there, did not want this game and did not like it. They're like, what is this? And for me, I didn't think this game made sense. We talked about it.
Yep.
Zombies in the Tom Clancy world is weird. Tom Clancy's like universe feels more realistic. It's like it's grounded in reality. Why are there zombies here? It didn't make sense to me. Okay, and I still believe that. It still makes no sense to me having zombies in a Tom Clancy universe. That being said, okay, everything else about this game is fun. This game scored a 72 on OpenCritic, and I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree with that score. I think a 72 is not generous enough. I'm not saying this is a 90. I'm not going to argue that. This game has problems, but I think a 72 is harsh. I really do. Let me talk about the things that I think are good in this game. Number one, it looks like Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege looks great. Rainbow Six Siege plays well. This game plays, I won't say exactly the same because that's not correct, but the way you play, like being able to break down walls, being able to create small windows in walls, like when you melee them, tactics-based, combat, where whenever you go into a situation where you have to, like, let's say, hold your ground for a minute, being able to, like, reinforce walls, setting up traps, like, doing all this stuff, Rainbow Six is great, and that's what Extraction has, and it's great. Not everybody plays that way, but I know we do. But some people just run around shooting their guns like it's Call of Duty, and all the power to you, but I like to play this like I used to like to play Rainbow Six Siege the 5 times I played it, which is I want to treat it like it's a stealth game. Except when I'm playing as Sledge. Then I just like to sledgehammer walls.
Smash.
Yeah, you just like Smash, but the game looks great. The gunplay of the game is great. It's Rainbow Six Siege gunplay, like it's great. Rainbow Six Siege has good gunplay. There's some decent variety in objectives. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but there's some stuff where you have to hold position for a certain amount of time. You have to find certain types of objectives. They're called nests. You have to find certain nests to destroy. You have to, like, put tracking devices on nests. There is a boss objective. You have to defeat a boss in one case. The objectives, I think, have good variety, and all of them play a little bit different. I think some of them play similarly, but there's plenty enough variety where it's at least interesting. All the operators are unlockable via just playing the game. All the equipment is unlockable just by playing the game. There's, like, objectives within each area that you go into, and they're called studies. So if you go into one of 4 areas and you have some studies to complete, like, you kind of focus on that because you want to progress the area, so that you can unlock more stuff. Oh, okay. And that's, like, part of what you're doing is you're like, okay, I want to do these studies, but at the same time I want to complete the objective. And in between there, let's say, like, during an objective, let's say you go down and let's say you die. You don't technically die. You go, if your teammate's able to take you and extract you, great. But if your operator is stuck in the map, they can just get stuck there, and then your next mission is to extract them. So when you go into another mission, you have to go extract them, which is cool. I think that's cool. It's like, okay, you died, but your next mission, you have an opportunity to get them back. And if you fail that opportunity, you get them back, but they have, like, no health. And you lose experience. So you lose the experience that they had gained. So it's kind of like it's an interesting take on this idea. And also, like, when an operator gets hurt, they get hurt before your next mission, so you may have to use a different operator. So you can't just like one trick, unless you're really good, then you can. So there's some interesting little tidbits that differentiate this game from maybe some other things. The zombies have some variety. They're okay. I won't say they're great. They're okay. Probably needs more zombies, different types of zombies, but they're fine for what they are. The music in the game is pretty good. I mean, it's like Rainbow Six Siege type music. It's good. It's fine. Nice ambiance music. Playing with friends is fun. I don't know. I think like people giving it a 72. I think you're being harsh. Rainbow Six Extraction is like probably going to be one of my surprises of the year.
Yeah.
I really do think so. This game it's got some replayability. You kind of want to keep replaying to progress. There's a ranked mode. It's like kind of, I won't say it's like a horde mode, but you have to like keep going through various levels, and rather than in the regular mode, there's like 3 levels you have to go through, 3 different objectives. In ranked, there's like 9. So you got to like really go through this gauntlet. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where it's like, yeah, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. And I'm gonna protest the 72. I've seen some people say it's boring, and I'm like, okay, well, it's a slow game. You play slow. Rainbow Six Siege is kind of a slow game. Rainbow Six Siege, yeah, was a slow game, but it was interesting because the tactics were great.
I mean, it's tactical. It's not Call of Duty. You don't run around with your like a chicken with your head cut off.
And some people do, and I'm like, look, all the power to you, but the game wasn't necessarily built that way. And if you're playing it that way, just understand that the game was built for something a little different, because it's like Rainbow Six Siege, and the price tag is $40. It's essentially like getting a DLC for Rainbow Six Siege. So the price, I think, is reasonable for the amount of content that you're going to get. You're probably going to get about, I would say, 20 hours of content from this game. Maybe more. Maybe like 25. So the content is there. The time is there. It's fun to play with friends. It has problems. Like I said, the enemy variety isn't there. I think that there are some objectives that are too easy. There's like, I think there are some operators I don't like. I've played certain operators. I'm like, I don't get this operator. Like, this operator just kind of sucks. I feel like the balance is weird. There are some operators that you know are good, and they have like these really useful abilities, and you kind of lean into using them. And then there are some operators that just like throw a smoke grenade thing that's like a gas for the enemy, but like, I see a use case for it, but it's not very good. So the balance is not super there, for me at least. Also, the boss fights are not particularly stimulating. So they're just like, okay, he's charging me, dodge, shoot. Okay, he's charging me, dodge, shoot. Okay, he's charging me, dodge, shoot. Oh, he's using a stun grenade, go behind something. Okay, great. I don't expect too much, to be honest, but it's not particularly interesting. It's not like you're engaged in like an epic JRPG boss fight where there's the boss and there's like some ways to like break down a shield or something. So you have to like run around doing that while also evading certain mechanics and dealing with that. The bosses in this game are just like, okay.
Yeah, you just dodge his attacks and shoot him.
You just dodge attacks and shoot him. Like sometimes his weak point's on his back, so you kind of just have to flank him once in a while when he charges. Okay. I wasn't particularly stimulated. But I can't say I expected much. But I do think that's a negative. The difficulty's there. This can be a challenging game. So difficulty can be challenging in certain levels. I just don't like the bosses that much. But the difficulty can be there. So 72 is harsh. I'd probably give this more than a 75, but probably not too much past 80. I would say 80 is probably my maximum. But like 72, it's just like, okay. Like, good price, functions well, haven't encountered bugs. Like, stimulating enough where you kind of want to play with friends. There's going to be like this 2-week buddy pass system where you can get people to play for 2 weeks, which is great. I would say the only other downside is it's you have to use Uplay. And
That's true for any Ubisoft game. So
Uplay is kind of like cleaning up dog crap. Like you need to do it, but you don't want to do it.
yeah, you don't like it.
And it smells. It's just like, okay, like I have to do this, but I don't want to do it, but I have to. So, yeah, I that's my pitch on Rainbow Six Extraction. I think for anybody that's on the fence or likes Rainbow Six Siege, you might like it. I think you just have zero interest in zombie games. Just stay away. You're not gonna like it. Sorry. Also, if you're expecting Call of Duty, it's not Call of Duty. You can play that way, but it's not Call of Duty. Go play Call of Duty or anything else that you think is like Call of Duty.
Go play zombie mode in Call of Duty.
Go play Battlefield 2042. Turn your brain off with that, I guess. Yeah, I think Rainbow Six Extraction deserves closer to an 80, not closer to a 70, is my point. Because the game is like functionally better than I think the review gives it credit. It doesn't have a story. Well, it does, but it's a Ubisoft story, so you kind of just turn your brain off. Because it's not going to be necessarily there. So I guess that's another comment, but I didn't expect a story.
Yeah, so. I didn't expect a story from this game either.
Yeah. So okay,
just a kind of a fun like play with friends and shoot zombies type of game.
It's kind of what I expected from Back 4 Blood, but for Back 4 Blood, I expected more. This one's kind of nice. It's a little bit, I would say, better in the way to play with friends and like the difficulty spikes than Back 4 Blood. I know it's not the same game, but you know, Back 4 Blood I felt a certain way about. I felt like it was fun to play with friends the first time, but I didn't want to really play it again. This one's fun to play with friends, and I like to come back to it and have fun and do some of these like objectives at a higher difficulty. I like get to expand on my tactics, and there's a little bit more thought each time you play it. Of like, okay, how do I want to play this? Like, how do I want to play this room, this objective? Like, where should we reinforce walls? Like, what do we expect from the enemies? And yeah, like we've gone down a couple times. Like difficulty's there. So anyway, that's my thing on Rainbow Six Extraction. Please, if you're interested, I don't know, find somebody, get a buddy pass. Have it is enjoyable. I'm sure some people are not going to like it and they're going to get bored by it. Okay.
You said it's on Game Pass though.
It is. Right? It's on Game Pass. It's free on Game Pass. The only downside is you have to use Uplay.
Well, yeah, that's true. Even if you use Steam.
Yeah. Uplay is
poop.
Yeah, it's like stubbing your toe.
Or going to the dentist.
That's right. You gotta do it. I mean, except for Try. He doesn't have to do it, I guess. But you go to the dentist, but you really don't want to. Like, you don't want Uplay, but
it's not a fun experience.
It's not really that. No, it's not. It's not fun at all. Yeah, that's all I have to say on Extraction. I would give it 1 thumbs up, not 2.
You mentioned to me that you were just kind of like, I don't know about offended, but upset that like Battlefield 2042 and this had like really similar meta scores.
Yeah, that pisses me off. It pisses me off because Battlefield 2042 doesn't work as a game. Yeah. It just doesn't work. Battlefield 2042's Open Critic was 65, so it's not the same.
Oh, but okay. I've the impression I got that it was like really close, like it was in the low 70s as well.
Oh no,
65.
To me, that is close. That's too close.
It's close, but 65 is like pretty oof.
Battlefield 20. Oh no, Battlefield 2042's review should just be a middle finger. It's like Warcraft Reforged review or the Grand Theft Auto Remastered trilogy. It should just be a middle finger. That or it should be an Amazon box with a dog turd in it.
Or just a $sign for the company who is cashing in on you.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto one is definitely a $sign. It's like a $sign and then the quote of it is like we saved money with this garbage. Battlefield 2042 was not saving money. They just really wanted money. No, like I think a 65 is way too close to the 72 on that. Like that kind of annoys me. I mean, I've played Battlefield 2042. That game does not work. You really think I would give a game a 65 when an airplane does this on a building? You can't give that a 65 anymore. You can't. You can't give a game a 65 when you see a hovercraft do this on a building. Can't do that. It no longer can be a 65 for me. It's like that is too cartoony to even get any respect from me. I'd expect that shit from Looney Tunes.
Yep.
Not from a shooter game like Battlefield 2042.
From what's supposed to be a relatively realistic military shooter.
Yeah, it's a joke. I just can't even, like, a 65 is so generous. That
Better
game
luck
deserves
next-
like a more less than a 50.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, sad. It's just sad. Very unfair. That's all it should say. Okay, so any other stuff that we wanted to bring up here?
I mean,
Otherwise,
the
like,
only thing I've been playing is Total War Warhammer, which I could talk about for a bit, but I don't know. Like,
it's up to you. I'm also okay leaving early because I got schoolwork to do. So
that's
I'm in, like, I'm in a bucket where I'm good. Also, just saying, like, if you want to talk about next week, totally fine too. Maybe if you had, I don't know how much time you put into it, but I mean, it's Total War. You gotta put a lot if you really want to understand the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've played like
He's checking.
I've probably played like 15 hours this week or so.
That's a decent. That is a decent amount.
It's a decent amount, and it's
Yeah.
over only like 3 or 4 days. To be honest, it's been like
Okay.
pretty much every night at like after dinner, I booted it up and played it until I went to bed.
Okay.
Definitely getting the little bit of one more turn syndrome with that game, like I do with 4X games. Like last night, I stayed up until like 1:15 when I
Oh,
probably
damn.
shouldn't have.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you're a boomer too, so that's like crazy late.
I mean, not as boomer as you, but yeah.
To be fair, all jokes aside, man, 1 o'clock can't do it. Can't do it. You at this point, I don't think you could pay me to stay up past 1 or past midnight. If you told me, like, hey, can you stay up past midnight? You'd be like, hell no, too tired. Kiss my ass.
Too tired.
In college, I'd be like, yeah, 3 a.m. All right, I guess I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
But now, it's like, I'm like 11 p.m. God damn, I better start getting ready. It's late.
Time to go to bed.
Oh God, it's late. And I've been waking up not every day, but like almost every other day, and running like a mile and a half at 6. I wake up at 6:45 and start running at 7:15 ish.
See, you couldn't pay me to wake up at 6:45.
Yeah. So like my sister, well, that's because my sister, I go with my sister to run. So she wakes up early because of my niece has to go to daycare at a certain point. So yeah, I'm up at like 6:45. We start running at 7:15. We were like a mile and a half. Not too bad, but yeah. At this point, you could I'd be very much fine waking up at like 7 a.m. for stuff as opposed to, before. But now I'm like, wait, somebody wants me to talk to them at midnight? No, go away. Get out of here. I've sometimes gotten pinged at like midnight, and I'm like, I'm not answering that shit. Get out of here. I'm not gonna look at this. This is late. They're like, oh, I stayed up. That's why I can't get like Try, Kuru, some other people I know. They're like, yeah, I was gaming at like 4 a.m. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Dude, that was Dodge. I don't know if he still does it now, but for the longest time, he would stay up till like 4 or 5 a.m. every fucking day.
And here's what I have to say: you're a psychopath. You're a psycho.
I mean, look, I'm a night owl. I like staying up late, but like never that. Like in college on the weekends, I guess sometimes like occasionally I would stay up that late, but not regularly. That's for sure. Like,
oh no way now. If somebody actually told me I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. to play you in, I'd be like, I'll see you tomorrow, bud. See you tomorrow. No thanks.
Yeah, I mean, midnight between midnight and 1 a.m. is like generally when I go to bed now.
Yeah,
But
for me, it's before midnight.
yeah,
Midnight's the latest. I can't do past that. I just laugh in your face if you told me to stay up past that. I'd be like, no. Even if you told me it was like important, it's like no, it's super important. I need you to stay up a little late. I need some help with something. I go, there's somebody else out there that can help you. I'm sure there
I'll
is.
I'll deal with it in the morning.
No. I was like, no, thank you. Like, but I need your help. No. Well,
I
no.
mean,
I'm
I think
sorry.
I would have a similar reaction if you asked me to wake up at 6 a.m. for something. Be like, nah,
And I respect
uh-uh.
that. I do respect that. I'm like, yeah, some people aren't going to wake up early. I get that. I don't get the people anymore. They're like, I'm going to go to bed at 5 a.m. and wake up at 4 p.m. It's like, dude, unless it's actually like you're a night shift worker, then I understand. It's like, okay, you're a
Yeah,
night shift worker. That is your life now. But if that's not you,
you
psychopath.
shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't sleep during the day. You should sleep at night if
Yeah.
as long as you're not a night shift worker, as Otto said.
Yeah.
Which does
That
happen.
it's like it's your job. Okay. I understand. It's your job that you have to do this life. I get it. Fine. But if that's not your life, why are you not why are you doing this to yourself? It's painful to see. Um so anyway, yeah, that's my
Yeah,
that's my presentation on why people who
on
stay
being a
up
boomer.
late past 2 a.m. are psychopaths.
Crazy. Yeah.
You're crazy. I'm sorry. Um anyway. All right, well,
Yeah,
um
we can stop. As I said,
okay.
I've been playing Total War Warhammer. I bought the second one and all the DLC on the Steam sale today. It was pretty heavily discounted. I think I got like the game is usually $60 and it had like over $100 worth of DLC.
Wow.
Um,
And you
so
got
yeah,
all that for a good price?
I got the game and all the DLC and also all the paid DLC for Warhammer 1 because there's some carryover
Yeah.
like where you can play the Warhammer 1 stuff in the second one
Okay.
for like 110, I think.
That's okay. Okay.
Is like over 50. I think it was over 50%
Yeah.
off all
Okay.
said and done with all the Warhammer 1 DLC
Yeah.
as well cuz
No, that's good.
that had probably another like I don't know, $50 to $60 worth of DLC for that game.
Yeah, no, I
So
honestly like I
all
expect us to be
told
like
it
$200,
yeah,
so.
all told it probably would have been like 220 to
Yeah.
250 full
You
price.
you got to tell me how
So
Warhammer
I
2 is. I actually own that game. So you got to play that. When you play it at some point, let me know. You got to tell me how that is.
I mean, yeah, I probably I'll see how much longer I want to keep going with my Warhammer 1 campaign. I'm pretty far into it, so I don't really want to stop it. I kind of
Yeah.
want to like try and finish that campaign or get at least as far as I want to in that, and then
Yeah.
I'll probably uninstall Warhammer 1 and just play Warhammer 2 because you could pretty much play all of the Warhammer 1 content in Warhammer 2 for
Oh,
the
okay.
most part. If you own Warhammer 1 and the DLC for that one, you can play any of those factions in Warhammer
Oh,
2,
that's super
basically.
nice.
Yeah.
What a nice thing.
Well,
Actually.
there's the Warhammer 2 campaign. You can't play the Warhammer 1 factions in that one because that is like
Yeah.
specific to Warhammer 2. But then there's like they have this free DLC that was called Mortal Empires, which is a like a combined campaign which combines the map
Oh,
from
cool.
Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2. You can play any if you own the DLC, for the faction, you can play any faction in from Warhammer 1 or 2 in that. And I assume they will do a similar thing for Warhammer 3,
Okay.
which is coming out uh in February.
No,
But
I think
I
that's
will
cool.
probably hold off. I'll probably hold off on Warhammer 3 for a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content in these games. There are so many different there's probably like between 10 and 15 races or factions to play as.
Okay.
And then within each of those factions there's usually at least like 3 or 4 different like leaders that you can play as.
Okay.
So
Got it.
which all have different start positions and different like starting abilities and stuff like that. So at least there's some difference between them.
Yeah, there's like from what I've seen other people play it. There's like a lot. It's just like a
There,
lot.
there's a lot of there's a lot of content.
Yeah,
If you like wanted to only play Warhammer 2, you could probably do that
yeah.
because there's a lot of content.
Oh,
Um,
I've watched somebody stream it, and it's like crazy how much stuff there is. It's all good, like it's all good, but it's just like a lot.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, like you have to, if you get to tell me how it is. Like I want to play it. I do actually want to play it and try it, but I'd be curious to hear your perspective
yeah.
on it. Um, when you get to it,
The battles like it takes some getting used to
right?
because it's very different from other RTS, and it's really important to position properly and like have good formations and flank the enemy when you can. Unfortunately, I'm playing the I started with the dwarves faction because at least in Warhammer 1 it said they have like they were the only faction listed as like easy starting positions. I was like,
Sure.
okay, this must be like one of the easiest factions to play, so I'll just play that first. And my problem with the dwarves is most of their units are like they don't have any cavalry.
Mm-hmm.
Um they have infantry, they have melee infantry, they have ranged infantry, and they have siege weapons,
But no
and
cavalry.
then they have their gyrocopters, which are like
Okay.
flying bombers, basically, which are
Yeah, yeah,
cool,
yeah.
but they don't have any cavalry, and they move. It makes sense. They're dwarves. They're heavily armored and they're short. They move really slow. Like
There you go. Easy start position. Everything else, maybe less so.
so yeah, and their faction mechanic, at least in Warhammer 1, it seems like they may add a little bit to it in Warhammer 2, is just obnoxious in my opinion. They have this thing called the Book of Grudges, and anytime some enemy does something to you, like if they take one of your settlements or if they like use a hero action and damage one of your settlements or one of your armies, you
Mm-hmm.
gain a grudge against them, which if you complete the grudge, it you get some money for completing it, which is
Sure.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if you let the grudge stay too long, there's this like meter that fills up, and like you get basically stability. It's called public order in this game. You get like stability penalties and like dwarf diplomacy penalties if you have too many grudges in your book that haven't been settled,
Sure.
basically. So
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting, but it's also like annoying. I had one grudge that was just persisted for a very long time because this dude with a really big army like came in and attacked me early on and then just like left and ran like into the back of their lands, and I didn't see them again for another like 70 fucking turns. So
So that grudge. Yeah.
that was kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, it seems annoying.
um so yeah, I don't know if I love the dwarfs as a faction, and I've watched some YouTube content, some tier list videos and stuff saying like, yeah, they're really not a very strong faction. Apparently some people like them. Obviously there's always going to be people who are fans, but yeah. But yeah, a lot of the battles I like there's not a lot of tactics to be had because you just kind of smash your infantry into their infantry,
Mm-hmm.
and then your ranged units do all the damage basically, and maybe you do some like attacking some of their backline units with your gyrocopters or something, and you have your siege weapons in the back, obviously, like firing at them. But with other factions, it seems like, especially the ones who have cavalry, you have to like constantly be microing your cavalry and like charging the enemy's flanks and stuff like that. So yeah, I
I,
don't know.
yeah, like I said, this I've wanted to play it. I just like, yeah, it hasn't necessarily been like that high on on the list of.
I mean, there's a learning curve.
Yeah, for
For
sure,
especially for the battles, and I don't think the tutorial in the game is very good at all.
sure.
It's really simplistic. It tells you basic things, but I've definitely watched a decent amount of YouTube content to learn some of the more advanced tactics and advanced controls, to be honest, that like the game just doesn't tell you. It tells you how to
Yeah,
move, it tells you how to attack, it tells you how to like put your guys in formation, but that's about it.
yeah. There's
Like
other stuff that you need that it probably just like, okay, go ahead,
there's a
give it a
lot of
shot.
other stuff. There's a lot of things that you need to like hold down alt or control to do basically. So like if you have your army selected and you hold down alt and you click and drag, it just makes your army move in the formation you have selected. They'll just move forward in that
Sure,
formation basically. So
that's
that
nice.
was like
That they
I
actually
used
keep
I used
formation. Yeah,
yeah. So there's a lot of advanced like things that the game doesn't explain well. I'm sure you could find it if you dove into the help menu and stuff, but it's way easier just watch a YouTube
Yeah,
video and
just get a
a
YouTube
guy tell
video.
you like, hey, here's some tips and tricks and some of the controls that are important and some things you should be doing, some buttons that aren't clicked by default that you should probably click on because they're pretty useful. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
if
yeah,
you're gonna get into it, I definitely recommend watching a bit of like beginner's guide YouTube video type things to
yeah, for sure.
figure out how to play it.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I
Like,
think the
yeah,
game's cool. I still don't think I'm very good at it yet, obviously. But I just started playing Total War games, and some of Total War series has existed for I don't know 15 to 20 years at least at this point. So
oh yeah, no, it's been
um,
around. So they flushed out something for their audience for sure. Like their audience really likes this. You
mhm.
got to get into it though, and you got to learn it. It's a lot. There's just like a lot to process. From what I've seen
Yeah.
too, it's just like a lot of stuff. But it's like interesting, and it's really like something that people have sort of invested so much time into. So
Hmm.
clearly something's working. Um, okay, you like tell me more about next week for sure. Like really,
Yeah. I'll
because
have a lot
I
to
have
talk
it, but
about next. I'll have a lot to talk about next week with Warhammer and Pokemon
yeah,
as well.
no
I'll be playing
that'll be the
so
conversation next week for sure. Um, yeah, we'll save it for next week. Um, for now, I think let's drop a little early so I can
yep,
get a little bit more work done.
it's good.
Um, but yeah, like I guess as a closing, thanks everybody for watching. Whoever came by and said hi. If be sure to check out the YouTube stuff, the VODs and things like that. It'll get posted probably sometime this coming weekend. Be sure to check them out, support them, like them, comment, all that jazz. We appreciate all that. So, any other concluding remarks, Spoon, before we end?
Nope, I think that's about it. Again, keep a lookout tomorrow and I guess over the weekend in general for Pokemon streams for me. If I do it, I'll definitely ping the Discord and the usual if I do. But
Yeah,
keep a lookout for that because I'm thinking I will do it at this point again. If I have a sudden change of heart and don't feel
sure.
like it, maybe that'll happen. But I'm planning at this point. I'm planning on doing at least
Okay,
one stream for it tomorrow probably. So
cool. Yeah, no, let me know when you do it. I want to check it out. I
yep,
got to do some other stuff, so it'll be a good kind of like background noise
yep.
thing.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Well, let's close here. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow or during the weekend with Spoon playing Pokemon.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.